Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt completely exhausted at the end of the day? Not because you were working on your own dreams, but because you spent all your time fixing everyone else's problems. Does saying yes to a favor ever feel like a heavy weight on your chest? We're often taught that being a good person means always being available, always helping, always saying yes. But what happens when you spend so much energy guiding others that you completely lose your own way? Let me tell you about a man who had to learn this the hard way. Meet Elias. He was the most brilliant mapmaker in the kingdom. His life's biggest dream was to draw a map to a magical place called the Valley of Tranquility. Every morning he worked on this beautiful secret map, dreaming of the day he would finally travel there himself. But Elias had a fatal flaw. He was simply too nice. Because he was so talented, lost travelers were constantly knocking on his door. A stressed merchant would ask for the way to the market. A tired farmer would need directions to the river. And Elias, he never said no. He would drop his pen, leave his own work behind, and spend hours walking strangers through the forest. His precious time and energy were constantly being nickeled and dimed away by everyone else's problems. Before he knew it, years had passed. Elias had grown older, frailer, and completely exhausted. He had given away so much of himself to strangers that he had absolutely nothing left in his own cup. One quiet, lonely evening, he looked down at his desk. His special map to the Valley of Tranquility was abandoned, completely covered in a thick layer of gray dust. He picked up his golden compass, and it felt incredibly heavy in his tired hands. In that moment, Elias realized a heartbreaking truth. He was helping everyone else find their way in the world, but he was completely losing his own path. Suddenly, there was a loud knock at the door. A young traveler stood outside, holding a lantern. "Can you please guide me to the next town?" he asked. Elias felt that familiar, heavy guilt in his chest. He wanted to say yes, but then he looked back at his dusty, unfinished dream. He closed his eyes and he took one deep, slow breath. "It is very sorry," Elias said gently. "I cannot walk with you today." Instead of leaving his home, he drew a quick route on a small piece of paper and handed it over. The traveler wasn't angry at all. He just smiled, said thank you, and safely walked away. As Elias closed his heavy wooden door, a wonderful, strange new feeling washed over him. Absolute relief. He finally realized that the world doesn't end just because you say no. He sat down eagerly at his desk and wiped the dust off his map. For the first time in years, he had the mental energy to work on his own dream. He finished the map, packed his bag, and bravely followed his compass deep into the forest. And at long last, he discovered the breathtaking Valley of Tranquility. Helping others is a wonderful thing, but remember, you cannot pour water from an empty cup. You cannot guide others if you lose your own way. Stop being available for everyone else and start being present for yourself.